Hello, everyone.
Hi!
Hello, kumusta? Maraming salamat sa pakikinig at sa panonood sa aming first episode ng E-numan with Thysz Raffy. Pero bago kami magsimula, magpapakilala muna kami.
Yes, Raffy, magandang gabi. So, ito ang ating show. Finally, oh my God, meron na tayong sariling show at ang saya makipagchikahan lang. Ito naman ang point nito at excited akong makilala ng lahat ang ikaw at ako at ating mga guests tonight. Simpleng pagpapakilala, no? Ako si Thysz. Ako ay isang freelance writer and marketing consultant. Matagal na akong taong internet at tawag nila sa akin sa internet ay Tita Thysz. Marami tayong mga opinion sa mga bagay-bagay. Ganoon naman talaga siguro ang paglaking internet ka, no? At since matagal na nga tayo sa ganito, somehow alam na natin kung paano siya gumagalaw. So, excited lang ako na first time kong naimbita ng isang media outfit na mag-start ng sariling show, na mag-discuss lang ng mga bagay-bagay online, mag-share ng mga opiniones natin, no? About sa mga recent events. Ikaw naman, Raffy, ano naman ang iyong...
Isa akong social entrepreneur at nagtatrabaho ako sa isang ahensya ng pamahalaan, no? At taong internet din. Actually, nagkakilala kami ni Thysz sa Twitter, no? Noong bata ako at si Thysz ay no? So, pero bago tayo magpatuloy, balikan muna natin ang mga nangyari. Siyempre, lalo na sa COVID-19, no? As of August 6, meron na tayong 50,473 active cases. No?
Wow.
At ang total na nga natin is 119,460. Parami ang may kaso ng COVID. Pero yung parang plano, parang wala pa, no?
Yun ang kailangan nating ipangalampag, I guess. At, pero ang ibinabahagi natin sa audience ngayon ay kung gaano na nga invasive ang itong ganitong pandemic na nararamdaman natin at na-experience natin. Though magandang balita pa rin naman ang number of total recoveries sa ating listahan, Raffy, ano? So we have 66,837. So that's plus 569 recoveries for today. So magandang balita pa rin naman yan.
Sana mas tumaas pa ang ating recoveries every day, no? Kasi ayaw naman natin may mamatay na Pilipino, lalong-lalo na yung mga frontliners natin. So maraming salamat sa ating mga frontliners. At para magpatuloy, so bagong show po ito dito sa ating bagong media outfit din, no? With Thysz and Raffy, Makiinom with Thysz and Raffy is an E-numan session, no? Where you bring your favorite drink, no? Dapat may favorite drink ka. What's your favorite drink?
Yes! Thank you, drunk barista. Support local.
Your most valuable lessons on love, politics, and anything under the sun.
Gusto ko yung love na part doon. Ito ang mga aral, kwento na minsan ay lumalabas lang tuwing inuman. Alam naman natin, sobrang miss na natin ang makipag-inuman sa mga kaibigan natin. So let's bring the bar home. Ito ang
E-numan with
Thysz and Raffy. Ilabas ang pulutan, mga kaibigan.
Correct. Ayan na.
Ayan na.
Pulutan na kailangan himayin at kailangan pag-usapan ng taong bayan.
Pero bago yan, Raff, so yung iniinom muna natin. So ngayon, nag-share ka na ng drunk barista mo. Ang drunk barista pala guys ay isang coffee vodka mix na in fairness, binibenta ko siya. So kung nasa Twitter kayo, alam nyo binibenta ko siya. It's a local brand. So the drink is made out of coffee from, dito siya binru actually sa Cebu. And the cane sugar that they use for the vodka is actually from Bukidnon. My drink tonight is, kasi kagabi pa ako, nung isang araw pa ako naluloka at hindi kasi ako nagsasoju noon. Recently lang akong natuwa na sa soju at dahil siguro may mga flavor na siyang iba-iba. So I have soju right now. Ito ay recommended na kay mga Twitter followers. Kung nakikita, saan ba? Ito yung camera. Nakikita nyo, ito ay green grape.
Alright.
Green grape. So, na-addict ako sa peach soju, pero ito yung ni-recommend ng followers ko kahapon, green grape. At ang sabi nila, masarap tong ihalo sa soda. So, ang panlasang Pinay natin na aspect yun ay ating dalandan soda sa local brand.
Sige,
alright, so pulutan.
Pulutan, pero bago ang pulutan, isang shot muna tayo, Thysz.
Oh my God, okay, I'll pour my drink. Talagang shot talaga yung drunk reason. Oo.
Medyo nakaka-init ng ulo itong unang pulutan natin.
Okay, so cheers ba muna or pulo? Sige, cheers. Ayan, cheers. Cheers, okay.
Let's go. Unang pulutan.
Bakit nakakainit ng ulo?
Unang pulutan na nakakainit ng ulo. PhilHealth, utang na loob PhilHealth.
Oo.
PhilHealth naman. Bakit naman ganun, guys? 'Di ba? Hulog ng hulog yung napakaraming Pilipino, hulog ng hulog yung mga nagtatrabaho, hulog ng hulog yung umaasa na pag nagkasakit sila, meron silang matatakbuhan. Pero unan yung tinakbo ang pondo. Anong nangyari, guys? 'Di ba?
So, ang background nito, Raffy, sa pagkakaalam ko, no? So there was a COA report about yung mga request actually ng PhilHealth for funding. I don't know if it's directly COVID related, but I think it's for, just in general, just the entire budget request or like kung ano yung kung ano yung valuation ng mga bagay-bagay na gusto nilang i-procure. So alam naman natin sa gobyerno, kailangan maging transparent kung magkano at dapat nakapublish yan kung ano yung request mo para syempre alam ng tao, no? Hindi na dapat yun yung way para hindi siya makurakot. But napag-alaman ng COA na beyond talagang there's a huge question why these amounts were the ones requested for the budget when in fact like matindi sa social media yung Adobe suite na pang-improve sana ng IT at design nila pero na nagkakahalaga lamang daw to ng 100,000 around that price but they were asking for 21 million for it. Tama ba?
Medyo nasobrahan. Actually, hindi medyo, pero yung pakotation ng mga kaibigan natin doon. So, medyo nakakalungkot lang actually tayo itong balitang ito. Kasi, yung PhilHealth, isa dapat siya sa mga pundasyon ng universal healthcare. Eh.
That's true.
Lalong-lalo na ngayon sa pinagdaraanan natin sa Pilipinas at sa buong mundo. Isa to sa mga ahensya na inaasahan sana ng mga Pilipino. No? Kaya nakakalungkot na nangyayari ito. Pero nagpapasalamat din tayo sa iba't ibang mga kongresista na talagang tinutukan ang problemang ito. Kanina may nag-lecture na isang health economists, no? At talagang tinuruan. Actually, sinabi niya ako siya nang bahala sa math, no? Para sa mga...
si ano ba to? Representative Stella Kimbo.
Yes, si Teacher Stella, di ba, tinuruan niya yung PhilHealth. So, nakakainis, no? Pero mga kaibigan, sana wag nating hayaan, no, na lumipas lang ang issue na ito na hindi tayo nangangalampag sa PhilHealth, na hindi tayo nangangalampag sa iba't ibang mga kongresista na suriin talaga kung ano ang nangyayari sa PhilHealth. Ang palagi nila sinasabi, pag nalugi daw or kapag naubos naman ng pera, gobyerno naman ang sasalo sa PhilHealth. yun na nga ang masaklap di ba? Tayo na ang nagbayad, gobyerno pa ang sasalo sa kapabayaan nila. So wag naman sanang mangyari.
That is true. Yun lang naman ang ating panawagan. So itong pinakamainit natin na topic the past few days, and we enjoin everyone na idagdag natin yung boses. Kasi halos lahat ng working class ay nagbibigay ng contribution sa PhilHealth. So, alam naman natin kung gaano kalaking tulong. Pag nawalan to ng funds at nawalan to ng pwedeng ipangtulong sa mga taong may sakit, I think it will just lead to, ito na yung the worst that we could think of. It's the only public health insurance company natin, and napaka-importante niya ngayon sa panahon na ito. So that's why it's important to give more attention to what's happening there.
Correct. At syempre, next pulutan natin, ito masarap. Ito naloko rin ng internet sa ating next pulutan. Ito ay si Miss Ostrich.
Okay, so si Miss Ostrich, Diyos ko naman, 'di ba? Aagawin pang eksena kay Miss Rona. Pero si Miss Ostrich ay isang alagang hayop. Hindi ko alam kung alaga ba talaga siya or ano ba to? Parang like,
pero napaka-symbolic, 'di ba? Kasi parang paglaya yung gusto ni
ang gusto ni Ostrich.
Pero hindi siya nakalabas ng gate, hinarangan siya ng security guard.
Wala siyang gate pass.
Gate pass at quarantine pass. So it's a reminder sa ating lahat, guys, MECQ pa, so kailangan natin i-secure ang ating mga quarantine passes or kung ano man ang passes na ini-impose ng inyong local government unit. So sumunod tayo sa batas, no?
Totoo, buti pa ang Ostrich at nung sinabihan siyang bawal siyang magpa sa gate ay bumalik siya sa kanyang napakaraming meme ang nagawa kay Miss Ostrich, no? At sa totoo lang nakakagimbal ang kanyang existence kasi nga parang Jumanji. Anong susunod na hayop? Nakita na nga natin sa Cebu may baboy at sa Iloilo ata yung isa pang hayop na nagsisitakbuhan, yung baka sa Iloilo ang yung huling report.
At meron din daw napabalita na mga nagkaila ng mga buwaya malapit lang daw sa may batasan.
Ang sabi nga, Raffy, ngayon lang nakakita ang mga tao ng ganito kadaming hayop na tumakbo since nung eleksyon. So, at least
platform, di ba?
Totoo. Iba naman.
Correct. Iba naman. At yung pulutan natin, na pag-uusapan natin tonight ay ang anti-terror law na pinasa sa gitna ng pandemya, utang na loob talaga mga friends, no? Anti-terror law, isa sa mga prioridad na pinasa at pinag-usapan kasama ng pagpapasara ng napakalaking media network ng Pilipinas. So, mapalad tayo ngayong gabi dahil malawak natin itong susuriin at malawak natin itong pag-uusapan, no? Sa ating diskusyon na tatawagin naming E-numan session.
Yeah.
Ayan. So, bongga talaga. May mga pa 5 seconds.
Tuntua ako.
Nice na ganito kasi hindi naman po kami talaga mga hosts in real life, no? Pero, mapalad tayo ngayong gabi dahil sasamahan tayo ng actually si Thysz isa din sa mga nagpetisyon sa Supreme Court laban sa anti-terror law. Una natin dyan natatawagan ay si Atty. Tonton Neri, Director. Hello, Atty. Tonton.
Guys, and Rob, maayong gabi.
Hello.
Maayong
gabi.
Anong alright, may dala siyang Smirnoff.
Yes, yay, cheers.
Tatlong beses talaga mag-cheers tayo. Right. At siyempre, tawagin natin ang isa sa mga kaibigan natin na vlogger at columnists, si Kuya Tonyo Cruz.
Kuya talaga.
Si Kuya Tonyo Cruz. At syempre, bata, isa sa mga pinakabata na petitioners against anti-terror law, si Sir Albert Raqueño.
Hi. Gabi naman
Hello,
sa sir.
Bert!
Grabe yung liwanag mo, Albert, wag kang sumunod dyan.
Ayan.
Parang kitang-kita ang fez ni Albert, no? Talagang, exposed. Ayan, yan.
Pero bago tayo mag-start, guys, ano yung mga dala ninyong baon-baon ninyong mga drinks for tonight? Ay, grabe.
Ay, Diyos ko, Jacqueline. Black label talaga. Ikaw, Bert, ano sa'yo?
Wine.
Wine! Taray. Tita drink.
Siyempre.
Tayo lahat.
Okay, so cheers muna tayong lahat bago natin pag-usapan ang ating anti-terror law.
Yes, sana maibasura ang anti-terror law.
Batas na siya, girl. Kailangan na lang natin siyang i-challenge ang mga provision. So,
ngayon, hinga natin ng overview, no? Ano nga ba talaga ang anti-terror law? Bakit ito nakakatakot at bakit kailangan mabahala din tayong mga ordinaryong mamamayan sa batas na ito? So, walang ibang pwedeng makapag-explain siguro ng mabuti dyan kundi ang isa sa pinakagwapo at pinakabatang lawyers ng Cagayan de Oro City. No? Ito kaibigan ko na sobrang tagal na kami magkaibigan. Si Attorney Tonton Neri.
So, maayong gabi, magandang gabi sa lahat. So, the terror law, just to summarize it into like a thought, para siyang sinusunog mo yung buong bahay mo just to kill a few termites. Parang ganon. It is, its provision is so vague, it's so broad, and so dangerous na yung interpretation ng terrorism can be parang vested na sa utak ng law enforcer. So, for example, in this new law, punish na yung mere act with that intention, Raf. Kasi sa principle ng law, hindi dapat acts yung pinapunish, di ba? Like murder, like arson, specific. But in this law, this new law, yung nag-repeal sa Human Security Act, which by the way, at least sa Human Security Act, defined yung specific acts. Dito, yung first example is an act which is intended to cause bodily harm, etc. So ano ba yung act na intended to cause? Parang hindi ang act mismo, but the intention is being punished. And you couple it with a purpose and context such as intimidating the government. Anong definition ng intimidation? Wala yan sa law. And it's also a state of mind, di ba? So,
grabe, parang hindi mo pa nagagawa, pwede ka nang parusahan, parang crush mo pa lang siya, iniisip mo pa lang na mamahalin mo siya.
Grabe.
Brinikan ka na niya. Ganon.
Kasi specifically, may sabi sa batas na in any stage of execution. So even proposal to commit is punishable. So in general, ganon, it's so broad and no wonder more than 23 ata na petitions today, 23, 24. I think, I'm not sure if this is running to be the highest number of challenges, no, but it tells you that this law is, parang existential threat ng democratic spirit ng bansa.
Thank you so much, attorney. So I think that's the reason why, I don't know, it's very clear to a lot of people, kasi ang daming, when it was first launched, no, there was an appeal from the creators of the law na parang supportahan niyo yung batas kasi this is only to protect us from terroristic threats. Now, nung nabasa siya at nakita talaga kung ano yung parang what it is basically, how it's going to apply that, how it's going to defeat those threats, it became naging sobrang nakakatakot nung pwede mong isipin kasi syempre pwede kang hindi mo pa nga iniisip, you can be charged against something that's just a mere accusation And kakaiba din yung mga punishment niya, attorney. So if you can talk to us about yung punishments, kasi dun talaga ako medyo parang, what? It's literally against what's in the Constitution about being detained in a certain time.
Yeah. So aside from the vague definition ng crime itself, yung one of the basis of our challenge to Supreme Court is the amazing power of this Anti-Terror Council, which by written authorization lang pwede na sila mag-arrest ng any suspect. Hindi siya nagsabi ng evidentiary level, parang just a mere suspect. Suspect siya lang, right? And then they can arrest a person by virtue of a written authorization. Wala nang judge na mag-issue ng warrant of arrest. And then that person can be detained from 14 plus 10 days. Right? And then, ano ba yung definition ng suspected terrorism? Those I mentioned earlier. And then yung another unique new crime na ginawa ng batas is yung inciting to terrorism, which I think isang basis ng attack ng mga bloggers, ng mga internet personalities, because by posting, just by mere posting, things that might incite or tend to incite people to commit terrorism, which is in itself vague already, is already defined as a terrorist. Section 9. Therefore, you are open for arrest. Diba?
So after ng inuman session, may nakaabang na sa atin. So thank you very much, Atty, for giving us an idea kung ano ba talaga ang anti-terror law. And nasabi na kanina na napakarami ng organisasyon, napakarami ng grupo ang nagfa-file ng petisyon sa Supreme Court. At isa na dito yung grupo nga ni na Kuya Tonyo. At yung isa sa mga grupo na mga bagets talaga, mga bagets yung at the same time, ito yung grupo na isa sa mga pinakaunang pwedeng makulong talaga. Sila yung maiingay, sila yung talagang very open sa pagtutol sa iba't ibang mga nangyayari sa ating pamamagitan. Tonyo, paano to nagsimula? At bakit ninyo naisipan na magtipon-tipon bilang isang grupo at maghain ng petisyon sa Supreme Court?
Well, nakita kasi namin yung mga inihain na ng mga petition. Sinusuportahan namin lahat ng mga petition na mga nauna. Alam namin napaka-importante ito sa buhay natin bilang empleyado ng gobyerno o kaya empleyado sa private sector, kung student leader ka, kung leader manggagawa ka. So, ang dami na nagsalita at mga abogado, kahit yung mga constitutional commission members ay nag-file. Pero napansin namin, quiet yung mga naunang petition. Gusto sana namin na wag nang mag-file. Parang hangga't maaari, wag na lang mag-file. Kaya nakita namin na sa lahat ng mga petition na na-file, silent lahat sa issue ng internet freedom. Kasi naniniwala tayo at sa international conventions na pareho yung rights natin online and offline. Specifically yung right to free expression, Article 19, may karapatan tayo mag-express tungkol sa bagay-bagay na mahalaga sa atin across frontiers and in whatever medium that we choose. So, kung may pangamba tayo sa right to free expression offline, talagang dapat may pangamba din tayo at concern dun sa rights natin online. Sabi nga ni Atty. Tonton, matindi yung mga bagong crime na dinefine ng batas na to. Yung maraming mga activities natin na taken for granted natin, ang maaari tayong makasuhan. Sa example, naalala nyo, di ba, nagkaroon tayo ng malaking campaign para sa mga lumad o kaya sa mga biktima ng disasters. What if, because the government is targeting certain organizations, one of the organizations that we would support turn out to be designated a terrorist by the government? So all of us who participated in their fundraising out of our sheer love for fellow Filipinos could become suspects as well. Kasi we participated in their activity. So we know a whole lot of people, ang term nga dito lagi, the usual suspects, na talagang masisira ang mundo nung pagkakakilala natin online. So, halimbawa, people we support for a broad range of human rights, malamang na malamang, siguro time na lang yung hinihintay natin bago sila i-designate. So, crowdfunding, crowdsourcing ng content, yung right to organization, yung right to form associations na ginagawa natin online, taken for granted. We could have Facebook groups, we could have groups sa Twitter. Affected yun. Under threat. Pwede nilang sabihin, this group, that group, there are terrorists there. All of them should be designated terrorists. So, ulitin ko lang yung right to free expression, right to assembly, online assembly, right to association, right to redress of grievances, practically yung basic civil liberties natin na ina-exercise natin online because we are there, napakadaling maapektuhan itong anti-terror law. So ayaw natin yun. Actually, napakalakas ng criticism sa terror bill online nung bill pa siya. Kasi nga, nag-iisip naman yung mga internet users at nakita nila, bakit naman matatakot yung terrorist dito? Wala naman pakialam yung terrorist sa batas. So parang, wala namang statement na nirelease yung Abu Sayyaf o opposing the terror law. They are not actually threatened by any law. They will do as they please. Pero yun nga, dahil sabi ni Atty, we agree 100%, the definitions are overbroad, very vague, at prone sa misinterpretation. Yung kanina, may sinabi lang si Atty na mahalaga, one of our core rights is due process. We could sue and be sued. Pero judge yun. Judge ang magja-judge. So nobody could be arrested, nobody could be detained without an order from a court or from a judge. Dito sa anti-terrorism law, there's an anti-terrorism council, people we criticize for all sorts of crimes against people, corruption, nepotism, graft. These same people would have the power to designate any one of us without any due process. They could designate any one of us as terrorists and order our arrest. They are not judges. They could order us on a whim. Nangyari na this week, the chief of the military, he said, without any advice from lawyers, he said, we will have to regulate social media.
Nakakatakot, 'di ba? Kasi napansin na natin na yung iba sa mga namumuno sa ating pamahalaan at pwedeng maging parte noong council na yon, ang baba ng ego, no? At napaka-insecure, no? Sa kritisismo. So,
marami silang tinatago at gagamitin nila yan.
Correct.
May ego lang sila sa president, by the way. Sila lahat. So it's as if it's only the president.
Albert, bilang isa sa mga fresh na faces ng lab.
Ko dito.
Oo. At napakaliwanag ng iyong kinaroroonan ngayon. Paano ka naman nahikayat as an artist, as a student? Bakit mo naman naisip to participate sa pakikipaglaban sa isang batas at sa pagpapahayag ng saloobin mo sa Supreme Court pa? 'Di ba? Bakit mo piniling mag-participate?
Di actually si Sir Tonyo kasi talaga yan eh. Charot. Ano,
Kuya Tonyo.
Sinisi.
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 Wala kasi
Sinisi.
ako intention eh. Pero ano, joke lang. Ano, kita naman sa pangalan namin, no, yung collective namin, tinawag kaming Concerned Online Citizens. So, doon din naman ako nang gagaling. Maraming standpoint, marami kami nag-petition. Iba't ibang profession, di ba? Pero, kami lang ni Twitter BB Girl Mark, yung estudyante doon, di ba? As far as I know. So, we're coming from that standpoint na kami din halos yung maingay sa social media. And so far, we've been vocal, di ba? We've been very, very vocal. And knowing how this law supposedly has good intentions when we know in fact na wala talaga and it's just a weapon to silence us. Kami yung isa sa mga vulnerable din eh. So, imbes na matakot, we're trying to do what we can. We're trying to put things into place. Hindi porket ganito nang ka-hopeless yung sitwasyon ng gobyerno natin. Wala na tayong pwedeng gawin. So, ayun from the standpoint of a student and from the, youth, bagets from the youth. So, ayun. And as an artist, siguro we've been making art. Wait, I can't speak for everyone pero those who can have been making art that's been vocal against the government, that's trying to address all of the issues, especially since the quarantine, di ba, napakarami nangyaring kagaguhan. Sorry for the term. Pero ayun na. What more pa kaya if this anti-terror law fully takes into place and it's already considered normal in the future na bawal pala namin gawin yon. Paano na kami, di ba? We're just trying to clean up the mess na nangyayari ngayon. So, ayun po.
Ako, Thysz, question kay Atty. Tonton. Marami din nag-file, aside from mga bagets and mga active online, marami din nag-file ng mga lawyers. Specifically yung sinamahan ni Atty. Tonton, mga alternative lawyers. Atty. Ton. Atty. Ton, bakit mahalaga to sa inyong mga abogado? At bakit lalong-lalo sa mga alternative lawyers, bakit mariin yung nilalabanan ang batas na ito?
I also joined the petition with the Ateneo Human Rights Center with Christian Monsod, one of the framers. Kasi parang it is number one, we swore an oath to defend the Constitution when we started our careers as lawyers. And we feel that this law really hindi lang threatens the Constitution parang parang binastos, binaboy, or ano bang worst term for that. We really think that this is like the brink, parang a brink of sorts, na once this gets weaponized, everything will go downhill It can be used as a weapon that will destroy civil society And as lawyers na who try to also defend the rights of the poor, we also feel na yung batas na to will be disproportionately be felt sa mahihirap. Kasi we've seen this in its different form We call it the drug war. It's also a weaponization of the law, and we know that it's also a war against the poor. I can't imagine a state na what more na parang we have this new law na parang siyang drug war in steroids with so many provisions that can be used against anybody. And remember, suspicion lang. Suspicion yung standard. So, anong element ng suspicion? Pwede yang i-include yung discrimination mo, where he lives, anong mga organizations niya. Those all inform suspicion. So, it's so wide. Pwede talaga siyang maging prone to abuse. Medyo, hindi na ako coherent kasi parang 6% lang itong rule na to, no? Pero I don't think kaya. Pero yeah.
You have questions, Thysz?
No, actually, I'm going to, just to piggyback on what Tonyo and Albert said about filing this, because I'm also one of the petitioners with concerned online. Ang tawag sa amin ay COC. So COC, COC in short. At ang aming
nakakabagabag, pero
no, kasi ang slogan namin na sinabi ko na gamitin namin ang hashtag ay cockblock anti-terror law. So kami ang pinakamalaking cock na haharang sa anti-terror law. We are online personalities, and a lot of what we do online is taking humor to use it as as a satirical way to bring about the issues of
Anti-terror law.
the issues of our society. So a lot of this humor, ginagawa namin yun, maraming kasama namin si Makoy Dubs, kasama namin iba-iba pang online personalities. We operate on that sense kasi we feel na it's the best way to become more understood. The issues become more palatable in a way, 'di ba? So parang nag-open up kasi siya agad when you use humor. Nag-open up siya kaagad ng ng isipan ng tao na parang okay, pwede kong tanggapin yung sinasabi ng taong to kasi nakakatawa. That could be taken away from us because a lot of the content right now that's going about, that's actually really funny because to be honest, the government doesn't even have to try. They're just funny. Like kanina yung pinost ng PhilHealth na ginaya nila yung just in ng Philippine Star, ang sinulat nila just now. So parang, di ba, parang just now, ngayon nyo lang na-realize na wala palang korupsyon na 15 billion, yun yung kiniklaim nyo. It's very funny. The government's actually very funny in itself. Pero us, the people who operate in this sphere, we want our laws to protect us, not make us afraid to be able to speak, di ba? It's supposed to be there so that we can, we know our boundaries, fine. We know to the limit that we can do it. But it's not supposed to smother us entirely. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. People, I don't know why people cannot grasp how scary just having an entirely different council to judge if somebody is a terrorist or not. Even our own judges are not infallible. Then that's the reason why there should be an entire long process of litigation. But this shortcuts everything just so that what they say is the priority is just so na mabilis natin maparusahan at matrap, mapakulong, whatever ang mga terorista. But how broad did they make this law? Yun yung personal kong reason why I wanted to join the petition. Because number one, or another point is, when are we going to do this? When we can not anymore? When we absolutely cannot? Diba? Ngayon na we can still do this, we can still, make shows like this, talk on Twitter like this. Kailan pa natin gagawin to kung talagang bawal na to lahat? So I took that chance. When Tonyo said, Thysz, do you want to be part of it? And I said, absolutely. Because when are we going to do this? When we're already hiding and in the dark? So, because they can actually really enforce this and keep us quiet. Yun lang naman.
Correct. Sabi mo kanina sa mga kina Attorney Tonton, si Auntie Thysz tapos si Kuya Tonyo, nakilala ko sila sa Twitter noong kabataan ko pa. Pero ito para kay Kuya Tonyo. Noong nagkakilala tayo sa Twitter before, hanggang ngayon na sobrang tagal na, siguro halos dekada na yung lumipas. Ano yung nag-push sa'yo or ano yung nagpo-push sa'yo to still fight no, to still hold on doon sa opportunity for us to use the platform for social good. Kasi yung mga social media for social good, parang lumipas na siya eh, parang napaso na siyang advocacy. 'Di ba? Pero may isang grupo na na-convene nyo pa rin na patuloy na nag-advocate noong cause na 'yon, no? Ano yung nag-uudyok sa'yo? Ano yung nag-i-inspire sa'yo to still do it? No? Kahit na ang dami-daming shit na nangyayari sa Pilipinas.
Thank you for that wonderful question.
Sorry, bakit gusto mo yung
Cheers to that.
may pagbabalik tanaw.
Hindi kasi ako naniniwala sa cynicism eh.
Wow.
Sabi nga ni ni Conan, and I agree with him, cynicism is the worst thing that I could find in any person. Kasi cynicism doesn't work. Like for example, yung nagsasabi tayo na, I give up. Wala na mangyayari. Wala na lang mangyayari. Kasi precisely, cynicism is what Duterte wants you to feel. What the dictator wants you to feel. Now, resignation, cynicism, give up na lang tayo. Mag-migrate na lang tayo lahat. Pero, tingin namin, dapat sila yung umalis. Dapat sila yung makulong. Dapat sila yung matakot. So, halimbawa, ang sharp na nung pagbabago sa social media, Raffy. Dati, I'm sure you remember, we are trying to convince the public to use the internet.
That's right.
We're trying to convince government to please go online. Ngayon, online sila pero nagkakalat ng basura, nagkakalat ng fake news, nagkakalat ng mura. Diba? Hindi natin ma-imagine na 10 years ago, hindi natin ma-imagine na ang presidente magmumura at ipapalabas sa TV live. We never expected that to happen. But the point is, it has happened. So, anong gagawin natin? So, kung meron tayong nakikita, whether like Albert is an artist, Thysz is a writer, yung iba mga abogado, nakikita natin, para siyang the emperor has no clothes. The emperor has no clothes. Tapos sinasabihan tayo, fake news yan, fake news. So, paano ka, it's the same story. Pero kailangan nating magsalita. Kasi the moment na mag-give in tayo na, baka lumipas na yung social media for social change. Hindi. Meron lang ascendant na terrible form of governance. More terrible than usual. One that lies, dystopia, pretends to be anti-terror pero terrorist, pretends to be anti-corruption pero corrupt. Diba? So, I'm very confident that young people like Albert,
siya na lang yung
Albert,
Siya lang yung young.
Albert almost wasn't able to join us sa COC. Kasi nga, I'm sure attorney would explain it, it's not easy to file a case, a petition. You have to file a verification, plus may list of IDs na required. So talagang naghanap kami ng paraan para makasama si Albert. Actually,
wala kang ID?
Hindi. Nung una, dun sa mga preferred IDs.
Yung pinaka-valid na
passport,
ID ko,
expired
na.
etc. Nakita namin dun sa petition ni Justice Carpio, merong UP student siyang kasama. Ang ginamit na ID sa verification, UP student ID. Sabi namin, if that person was able to use it, you should be our students should be able to use it as well in our petition. So, natuwa nga si Albert nun kasi akala niya, wala na. Hindi siya makakasama.
Para akong ginost ni Tonyo. So 1 week ulit nag-chat. Ay, okay, sige, tuloy.
Parang maraming makaka-relate. Maraming makaka-relate dyan sa statement. Pero, go, Kuya Tonyo.
kumbaga, alimbawa, we could have just ignored this and let the adults, the older people older than me file cases. Pero tingin nga namin, the court deserves to hear from us. Bawa, we wanted to communicate to the court. Justices, you also go online, you also hold hearings, you interviewed candidates for the court online. Pwede na tayo ngayong mag-copy furnish sa respondents online. Meron ng inquest. Pwede ka naman inquest online. So the internet is that important. So dapat protektahan yung internet.
Yeah.
If the justice, the prosecutor considers the internet legitimate place to do justice, dapat the same thing should be enjoyed by citizens. So that simple principle na gusto namin ipakita sa court. Tapos tigin nung 19 na nag-file ng mga kasama ko sa COC, worth it. So yung petition na to, yung Concerned Online Citizens, product yan ng discussion. Nag-usap-usap kami, nag-submit kami sa lawyer ng mga pagtingin namin, nagkaroon ng mga drafts na pinadala sa amin, tingin namin, ganyan-ganyan. So even the prefatory statement, pinagtulungan namin. So it's a explanation namin sa mga mas bata. At first time magpunta sa court, una, this is perfectly legal. We're not doing anything illegal. What's more legal than going to the Supreme Court? Pero this is a chance for you to go to the highest court and tell your concern. It's your right. So, kaya proud ako dun sa mga nakasama ko sila. Thysz, ang bilis kausap. Wala pang 5 minutes. Actually, wala pang 2 minutes. Okay na.
Ito may tanong ako for Albert. Masyado tong feeling ko mababaw, pero gusto ko siyang marinig talaga mismo from a legitimate personality, online personality. Maraming mga personalities ngayon sa social media who are very much afraid to voice out their concerns, no, against the government, against kung ano man ang nangyayari sa Philippines. Are you not afraid? Hindi ka ba natatakot na you might lose your followers, you might lose your clients mo, or whatsoever, or opportunities after mong maging bakit ako makikialam? Pwede naman happy na lang ako, di ba?
Okay, una sa lahat, if you already have a following, isn't that more of a responsibility to do what's good, diba? If you're there just because you want to, just to boost your ego, parang gano'n. Marami kasing gano'n eh. They try to make a name for themselves just so that they could make a bigger name for themselves. Maraming aspiring influencers, they want to connect with partners, sponsors, mga collabs, mga ganon. Nabababawan ako dun eh. If you're already lucky that people like your personality and that people dig whatever you're saying, bakit ka magsistray away sa katotohanan na nangyayari ngayon? Diba? And all those, yung numbers, yung followers, usually kasi pag sinabi mo pag kinuha mo yung term na influencer, it's usually connected to like sponsors, giveaways, mga ganun. Basta nabababawan po talaga ako doon.
Ay, pinunya ako, oh my God.
hindi like, okay, sige, maybe like some of them have a reason para maghirap. Maybe may kailangan silang sustentuhan na anything, 'di ba? Pero most of the time, yung mga hesitant din mag-speak up, they just need a lot of convincing. if not just a glimmer of hope. Well, a glimmer of hope. Parang siguro yun din yung nakita kong kahalagahan ng ginawa ko po, yung pagsali. Para ipakita na hindi tayo takot. And we are beyond what influencers are supposed to be. Kung influencer ka, gamitin mo sa tama. Yun lang naman po yung standpoint ko.
Raffy?
Yes,
That's fantastic.
Raffy, actually, if there was no pandemic and we had a total freedom to go around Metro Manila, we would have more petitioners sa COC.
Agree.
We would have a lot more petitioners. Time was against us. The quarantine was against us. Ang hirap mag-gather ng signatures. You could just imagine how we gather the signatures during the GCQ. Hindi naman kami pwede magkita-kita kasi, di ba? So, if we only had maybe 5 extra days, siguro magiging 30 kami or 40. Ganon. I think tama si Albert yung awareness naman result yan ng process so maybe some of our friends who are very influential and prominent, they're just really uninformed, not that close-minded, maybe uninformed, not yet reached by what we say, pero if given a chance, I'm sure they will sit down with us and discuss things. Again, it's a question of finding the people who are ready to work, who are ready to court.
Yeah.
So, sa nakita namin, sa naabot namin, there are 19 people, 19 online citizens ready to go to court.
Yeah.
So, yun, nagkaroon ng COC. But that doesn't mean that the others are evil, not concerned online citizens. Wala lang kami time at chance na makausap sila. Ang dami, Raffy, kapag nalaman mo lang yung nasa list namin, sayang, sabi mo, sayang sana nakuha nyo sila. Kaya lang, walang time. Walang time, ang hirap.
Yes,
Totoo yun. Yes, so maraming nag-reach out sa akin nung lumabas na yung petition at na-file na siya na sana sumali ako, how can I help? Yeah. So, yun sinabihan ko sila na parang napakabilis kasi nito nung kinailangan na kaming magkumpul-kumpul, no, at magkumuha na ng mga signatures. So, and it was an urgent thing. We will never know, to be honest, when the Supreme Court would, close out all petitions regarding this, or was it, is it gonna be at pagbawalan na ng gobyerno, for example, di ba? So parang in a matter of just a few days, we had to, get all those signatures. The good thing about it is, even if that's the case, hindi na sila nakasama dun sa petition mismo. The support is there, and the support, it means a lot when we came out, because nung lumabas yung publicize yung effort namin, isa sa mga pinaka maingay talaga, and it really proved just how strong being an online force is right now, especially now that we are unable to go out. So it was a huge deal for the people, and probably people in the government, to know that people online who are active online, can see through their shit and are against this and don't want this to happen, because they can railroad yung processes ng sa House of Representatives and sa Senate dahil kaalyado nila yung mga tao doon. But a legal challenge from the people is something that they cannot railroad. We still have that option. We still have that avenue. And while it's there and available, let's take it
Correct.
and defend ourselves that way.
Slice, before I continue, sobrang daming nagme-message at nanonood. So hello muna kay Queen Moon, kay Bew, kay John Dwayne Bequito, kay Paul Garcia, kay Doc G. Hello, Doc G. Kay Rom Frias, kay Adam Anay. Pero may isang question nag-message sa akin. Ano ang chances of winning nito?
Alam mo,
malaki ba ang chances of winning, di ba? Baka we can ask Atty. Ton.
yeah, Atty. Ton. Siya muna, tapos tsaka si Tonyo, tapos si Bert. What do we think about this?
Before you answer, may nag-message from Xavier University. Sabi niya, greetings from Xavier University, nanonood daw siya sa'yo habang nag-aaral siya ng midterms.
Ayan.
Hindi naman makapasa.
Maganda yan. Sana makapasa siya.
Yes, Atty. Ton.
Mute. Unmute.
Nakamute ka.
Yeah.
You can never know. Historically speaking, the cases against government, nanalo yung government under this regime. Ano pa ba? Yung Laila Dini, dami. I mean, the record is in favor of the Solicitor General. But there is hope. Kasi we're hoping again that by the sheer volume ng petition and yung broad na spectrum ng society na nag-involved, it sends a very strong message na this is something very serious. And well, Supreme Court being the Supreme Court, it's also a human institution. We can just really hope. We can really hope. But, I don't know, parang ang hope namin is they will also do the same thing what they did sa cyber security cybercrimes prevention act where nag-issue sila ng TRO. I think they also issued TRO sa RH law, I'm not sure. Pero parang, so we're hoping that they will do that at least to may status quo. And then hopefully by the sheer volume of petitions and the quality of the arguments, we can see hopefully na this bill gets killed.
Kuya Tonyo, what's your plan after? I mean, I'm personally I'm very happy that once again we are coming together, organizing ourselves. Kasi mga pasimuno na yan sina Tonyo before pa eh. Kaya nga kami nagkakilala. Lahat ako ng mga tao. But I'm very, very happy that now I'm seeing and hearing a lot of people online fighting against doon sa mga mali talagang nangyayari sa pamahalaan. Pero what's next? And how can we sustain this? Bugbog na tayo from the start. At ang dami-dami nang nangyayari. But how can we sustain this? What's our plan? Maraming nagtatanong, may nagte-text. Anong next? Ganon.
Siguro, kailangan lang ng change yung mindset. Raffy. Kapag palasuko kasi, talo ka na kaagad.
Grabe yung
diba?
palasok.
Kapag sasabihan mo ako na masyado na tayong kawawa, masyado na tayong ganyan, ang galing-galing ng kalaban. Dun sa case na to sa Supreme Court, just imagine a recently retired senior associate justice, si Justice Antonio Carpio, went back to court.
Yeah.
This time as a petitioner. Yung co-petitioner ni attorney, member ng Constitutional Commission. Kanina, si Vice President Binay, saka si Senator Sagisag, the biggest lawyers organizations, the biggest labor groups nag-file na merong isang petition na exclusively lahat ng major student organizations in the country. So, I think tama si attorney may mga malakas yung signal na pinapaabot nung mga petition sa Supreme Court na this is very important. People are looking up to the court for what it would do. So, tapos we have to remember yung isang lugar kung saan napakalakas ng protest ay online. Kaya I don't sense any sort of sense of resignation. Siguro napapagod, edi magpahinga. Kung napapagod ka, matulog ka. Para paggising mo, laban uli. Diba? Naiinis ka ngayon, uminom ka ng tubig, kumain ka, tapos o kaya.
Ito nga ginagawa natin.
Diba? Later, kapag hindi ka na pagod, laban. Kasi nga, politics is involved. The enemy wants to tire you, wants you to resign, wants you to submit, to surrender. Wag na lang tayo lumaban. Ganyan. Pero yun nga, wala yun sa vocabulary ng mga fighters. Regardless of where we come from. Kaya halimbawa, may mga Mindalawan petitioners.
Yes.
May mga Bangsamoro petitioners. May Davao, may Cagayan de Oro. So, we have to give credit naman dun sa paglaban na yun. So, kung gano'n din lang mag-isip yung mga petitioner, dapat hindi na sila nag-petition. Di ba? So, yung mga nag-file ng petition, they filed to win. Hindi yung magastos, mag-file ng petition. Yun nga lang, galing ka sa Cagayan de Oro. Hindi ko alam kung paano sila magkasabit ng petition, pero somebody has to fly. Submit it to the court. So yun, siguro yung isang point na lang, the government always wants us to surrender. Kasi nga, dystopia siya eh. It gives us endless bullshit that the tendency is to give up. Di ba? Like, to be cynical. Kaya lang hindi. We won't give the dictator what he wants. We won't submit. Yun yung core value ng internet. Openness and freedom. So, I want to tweet this. I shouldn't be scared of this law. I want to tweet something about PhilHealth. Why should I be stopped by this law? Hindi ka ba napapagod? Ganyan. Hindi. Ano nila yan? Ay, gusto nilang maisip natin. Mapagod na kayo, araw-araw to. Tingnan mo, Raffy. Mula umaga hanggang hapon, merong press briefing yung government. Diba? Walang katapusan yun. Laging handa, DOH, PNP, PCOO. Talagang binobombard ka ng information, making themselves look busy, but in fact, hiding controversy under the radar. Yung binupukpok tayo ng information. So, kailangan mong lumaban. Ganun.
Tama yan, Tonyo. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned working, being somebody who has activist roots when I was a student, and then online, marami din akong involvement in terms of speaking up and organizing online. But a lot of this is just a private, parang it affects private enterprise and private efforts. Ngayon lang, sa totoo lang, sabi ko, gawin nating mas sa publiko to. This is more of we're helping the entire country here. It's not the likes of what we've been doing. Raffy has been a partner for a long time when I do my relief operations in many disasters before. But that's very local, and that's an emergency response. But here, the bigger emergency is your own personal liberty. So if that's gonna be taken away from you, it's gonna be, yun yung gusto kong ma-realize ng mga bata or like I don't know, everyone else, even my people my age, we've been through many upheavals in Philippine politics. Naobserbahan na natin yan, and somehow there is a point na parang absolutely nothing will change. But then, you know what? Natapos yun eh. Even that ended, and another era started. There's gonna be an end to this, and I believe that. But are you gonna be part of how it ended, or are you gonna be part of those people na, ay, naku, ba't naman kasi ginawa yun? Alam mo yun, yung just on the sidelines. So I want to be part of that, at least in my own personal capacity. Mas pwede kong sabihin sa sarili ko na I wanted to challenge the legality of this law in the Supreme Court, because I know this is beyond constitutional already. Ganun lang. Like it infringes on our constitutional rights, which are supposed to protect us, not make us afraid. So yun.
Nakakatuwa, Thysz, and to be honest, natitender ako masyado kasi ang tagal-tagal na nating nasa spasyong ito. Actually, wala pa sina Albert siguro nung una tayong nagkakilala sa Twitter, sa Facebook. At nakakalakas ng loob na marinig yung mga kasama nating magsimula at yung mga bagong muka sa platapormang ito na patuloy na lumalaban.
Mm-hmm.
Sabi ko nga, sobrang sarap ng kwentuhan. Naubos ko na nga yung
Ako din!
Kasi nakakataba ng puso, no? At siguro isa yan sa mga aral na natutunan ko sa natin ngayon. Ang ganda nung sinabi ni Kuya Tonyo na yung mga diktador, yung mga pasista, papagurin ka nila hanggang sumuko ka. Pero hindi tayo yun eh. Hindi tayo napapagod, napapagod tayo, pero hindi tayo sumusuko. Kaya maraming salamat sa tapang, maraming salamat sa pagmamahal sa bayan, maraming salamat dahil hindi nyo kami iniiwan. Kasi napakarami sa amin ngayon, limitado na masyado yung galaw namin eh, dahil sa aming mga affiliations, dahil sa aming mga organisasyon, di ba? Pero napakaraming tao na tulad ninyo na lumalaw. Super pasalamat naman ako, di ba? Miss Universe.
Ang naiisip ko dito, Raf, kasi kasabay namin petitioners, si Aling Marie. Aling Marie was a viral personality, found her voice online kasi naipasa-pasa yung video niya. And hindi naman niya winish na maging nasa public sphere siya eh. Naglabas lang siya ng sarili niyang saloobin kung paano she feels na this is already a huge, big, unfair things happening. So, when she did, and then she was part of the petition, na-realize ko na, parang what we're fighting for here is our space. We will lose this if we don't fight for it. And it's not just me who's part of somebody who's been at it for some time, not just Albert, who's a student and an artist, and Tonyo has also been there for a long time, and all the others. Makoy is a comedian online, but there's Doc Gia, and then there's Xavier, who's matagal ng speak out against the government. But then we have Aling Marie, who is a plain house. I mean, she's a homebody talagang, but she just spoke her mind out, naging kalat publicly, and she found herself in a weird space na hindi naman niya alam lagi na pwede palang magkaroon siya ng space na ganon, so yun, I guess it speaks much about how we want it so bad not to happen, or at least they realize that a lot of things in there is unconstitutional and then they remove it.
Sabi nga
Kasi-
ni Jello Arucan, okay lang daw mapagod pero wis susuko. True? True. True.
True. So true.
Kay specifically kay Tonton, pero sa konteksto ng Mindanao. Kasi parang may isa akong nag-init talaga yung ulo ko masyado. Kasi bakit daw ang iingay ng mga taga Mindanao, bakit ang iingay ng mga Muslim about anti-terror law? At naiinis ako kasi hindi ko sila maaway online. Pero sana sa mga nanonood na hindi naiintindihan yung malalim na konteksto, bakit kailangan magsalita ng mga Mindanaon, bakit kailangan magsalita ng mga Bangsamoro, bakit kailangan magsalita ng mga Muslim.
I think, Raf, no, like in terms of experience, direct experience ng terrorism, I think Mindanaoans have seen it worse, I guess. No? From Marawi siege, Abu Sayyaf, and also being labeled as a breeding ground of terrorists, may interest talaga ang Mindanao. And to at least, parang this should have been something designed to protect Mindanao. But it turns out, even people from Mindanao, even the BARM itself, yung Bangsamoro Parliament, nag-release ng resolution asking the president not to sign it before. And then we see after, ang dami ng petitions din from Muslim community and the Mindanao community. So it tells us na this law, because of its loose safeguards, mas na ma-marginalize na mismo yung community. Because again, yung sinasabi kong suspect lang, you can be arrested. So di ba, ano ba yung suspicion? Pwede ding mag-play into that yung discrimination mo. And we know na in our country, dinidiscriminate ang mga Muslim brothers and sisters. And second is, I think, gets naman ng Mindanao na in order to address the root cause of terrorism, it's not the use of force alone, but it is to address the deep-rooted historical injustice na experience ng people from Mindanao, the lack of opportunity, the sheer poverty that leave a lot of young people with no alternative but to choose this ideology ng terrorismo. So that speaks a lot, no? And I hope that people around the country will see that this is not something that will address terrorism, but it is actually something that will embolden terrorists. Kasi ang dami nang pwede ma-abuse eh. They can use that as a narrative to further claim their recruitment process, di ba?
Correct.
So, and tignan natin to. Even the name itself already reveals the intention of the state. Yung original natin na terror law is human security. Yung centrality at least ng human nandun. But now it's named as anti-terrorism, negative. So from a human-centered policy, we've shifted to a state-centered. In a sense, you have to protect the state, not the human being. So that is something that we have to think about. We are regressing as a country. And this is a manifestation. I mean, we can see it naman in so many forms, Rafi. Death penalty, drug war. But this is the cherry on top, you know? So,
grabe yung nakarelate sa wisdom ni Kuya Tonyo. No? Sabi ni Rom Frias, pag pagod, magpahinga, matulog, kumain, tapos laban ulit. Gusto ko to, sabi ng isang nag-comment sa Facebook. Siguro, just to hindi pa to wrap up ha, mayroon pa tayong isang segment. No? Pero, guys, Kuya Tonyo, Albert, salamat dahil napakaraming katulad ko, napakaraming tulad namin who are very limited because of where we are right now. Pero spark of hope and spark of courage talaga yung ginawa ninyong paglaban, pagprotesta para sa amin, lalong-lalo na para sa mga ordinaryong Pilipino na maapektuhan ng anti-terror law. At bago tayo magtapos, no, sa mga inuman kasi pag yung mga alas 3 na, alas 4, yung malapit na mag-close yung bar, yung uwi-uwi na talaga sina ate at kuya dahil natapos na silang magligpit sa bar, no? Kailangan ng bilisan ang pag-shot. Kailangan ng bilisan ang inuman, no? Ako naubos ko na yung bote ko, no? Pero, to wrap it up, mga kaibigan, i-shot na yan. Thysz, maybe you can explain this segment for
Yes!
our guest.
So, surprise! May ganito tayong segment. Ito ay, alam niyo yung fast talk with Kuya Boy Abunda. So, ho-hostagein namin kayo. Na,
Malabo yung internet.
Hoy, Tonyo, sumagot ka. Okay, so, mag-fast talk tayo, guys. So, it's a simple game. We have different topics. And basically, ang ano lang dito ay pili ka, or sabihin mo kung aware ka dun sa topic. If you're yes or no, do you know this topic? And then we will pick, paikot tayo, paisa-isa, na mag-comment dun sa topic na yon. Okay? So, naman, seryosong-seryoso yung mga topic natin. Actually, wag kayo mag-alala. Kasama na dito ang TikTok. Charot.
Wala naman yung matigas o malambot. Wala naman mga ganon.
Wala naman ganon. Sayang.
Sayang.
Shit! Tulog na ba yung mga bata? Pwede na ba?
11:47 naman na. So we can start, guys, with our first topic, Boy Love Series. Yung BL series.
BL series. Aware ba kayo sa Boys Love series?
Okay, so maybe
aware.
Albert, anong kung mo sa BL series?
Isang fast talk dyan.
Ay, ano ba? Ganong kahabang sagot ba? I read somewhere
Hindi naman, sa'yo lang.
I read somewhere that it actually has a kind of peculiar origin. Parang galing talaga sa babae yung, and then may intention siya para ma-feel bad yung mga hetero men. Parang ganon. Pero I'm glad that it's progressed through something that speaks of representation talaga.
So everyone likes Boy Love series? Yes or no?
Or knows? At least knows? Boys Love series? Yeah, okay.
Lahat ng
Okay.
Magsha-shot?
Shot. Yeah.
Yes. Next ay same-sex union. Same-sex union, yes. Shot tayo
Yes.
lahat. Shot tayo, yes. Kuya Tonyo, your thoughts on this?
ASAP.
Pumalak pa ka. Di ba? Correct. Alright, next.
Okay. Sige, next.
Federalism. Yes or no?
We know this, pero sige si attorney.
Maybe not now, definitely. But maybe something you can look at in the long term.
Oust muna. Oust muna.
Oust
Under
muna,
a new government.
Okay, next. Nag-tense ako sa mga ganyan. So, mag-next.
Not under this president.
Okay, next topic. Ito, maugong to ngayon ha. And ako talagang sobrang pikon ako. Pero hindi lang ako makapag-tweet about this person. Homophobic na pangit.
Gusto ko si Bert yung sumagot. Bert, kilala mo ba siya at anong pastok mo sa kanya?
May isa ngayong sikat na napakapangit naman pero homophobic. So,
It's always the ugly ones.
I think you're right. Alright.
I think you're right.
Next, MECQ. Yes?
MECQ. We know. Do you want to react about it, Raf? Kasali ba tayo sa magre-react or guest lang natin?
Ikaw.
Ako, meron akong react kasi sa MECQ, no?
Oh.
Kasi, mabilis lang. Kasi, sa barangay namin, di ba you know how crazy it is? When we went back to MECQ, the thing that happened is, okay, hindi na to na parang manggagaling sa amin yung rules. We don't know how to modify it. We just wanted it there. So do it on your own. So nagkagulo yung mga local government units. Ang reaction ng barangay namin ay pwede kaming lumabas lang depende sa kung anong first letter ng apelyido namin. It's so crazy. So, kung letter A to letter J yung apelyido mo, pwede ka lang lumabas ng umaga. Pag letter K to letter Z, pwede ka lang hapon lumabas. So, naging ganun ka nakakaloka yung pag-decide ng mga bagong
trivialize nila yung quarantine.
Exactly.
Pero di ba mga babae lang yung pwede ng quarantine pass?
Yes, isa pa yon sa Batandang Balara sa Quezon City. Mga babae lang ang pwedeng bigyan ng quarantine pass. Tapos, meron din doon na tinanong yung barangay captain, paano po ako, yung nanay ko po ay 60 plus years old na? Isa siya sa mga bawal na talagang lumabas. Tapos sinabi na, kung merong bakla sa inyo, siya lang pwedeng lumabas. Tapos, yung kaibigan ko, bakit po bakla? Bakla po ako. Sabi niya. Tapos kailangan ng proof. Eto na kailangan ng proof na bakla ka para bigyan ka ng quarantine pass. So sabi ko, kung paano man nila gawin yon, sana hindi sila maloka. Kasi maloloka sila.
Maloloka ang mga nangyayari. Next topic natin ay, I want Tonyo to react on this. Gasolina sa mask. Init yung ulo mo sa akin, Kuya Tonyo.
Yung reaction ni Tonyo, nainit na lang yung ulo niya.
Dapat humingi tayo ng demo.
True.
Di ba, kita mo? Di ba, gano'n?
Bawa, si Joseph Morong, sana nakikinig siya, sa next media briefing with Harry Roque, Secretary Roque, could you demonstrate the use of gasoline as disinfectant?
Shit, I'll pay to watch that, Tonyo. Ganun level.
Alright, and I guess
Dapat show and tell.
Show and tell. Tama naman. Ako last for everyone, and I guess kung ano man yung iniinom natin sa baso niyo, dapat uubusin natin to kasi lahat tayo magsasalita on this topic. True love.
Ano ba yan? True love.
True love. Sige, let's start with Thysz.
Wow! True love, paano ba? Okay, so, very quick. May tinweet ako recently na all I can do now is love. Parang yun na lang yung kaya kong gawin. Kasi ang gulo na, no? It's truly, it challenges every aspect of your life. Mental, physical, emotional. We need an emotion, spiritual, lahat na. We need an emotion that transcends all of that. And nothing in human emotion can capture transcendence ng mga ganong klaseng challenges, kundi yung pure love, true love. So, sinasabi ko sa inyo, more than any time in this world, we should be loving more.
Kuya Tonyo? Bakit ka naman si Mangot?
Bakit?
Hindi ako kasi Mangot. We should compete with Duterte for love of country. We love the country more. He always claims to love the Philippines, but he loves China. So we have to be consistent. We have to say every night before we sleep, Philippines, I love you. I will sleep now and wake up for you later. We won't leave you. We won't fly away. You're our only country. Di ba pwedeng ganon? Di ba pwedeng ganon for a change? Di ba? Para it could also unite us. Di ba? Like,
agree.
Ang ganda, no?
People who are different politically, but we could Love the same country.
Of course. Napahamak na nga ako dyan kasi nagmahal ako ng nasa kabilang spectrum.
Ay, pareho tayo.
Oh my God! Oh
Baka lasing na ako baka lasing.
shit! May in love ka ba ever sa DDS? Ganon?
Ay,
Charot lang.
DDS.
Ay, hindi DDS.
Sa kaliwang spectrum natin. So, okay.
Okay.
Ito, Albert, actually sinasabi ko kay Thysz, nung kino-confirm namin isa ka sa mga guest, sobrang funny ako ng ng pagmamahalan ninyo. Kasi napapasana all talaga ako, di ba? Kasi ako nga, zero, ikaw talaga yung enjoy as in. Multiple. Albert, true love.
Love is both a feeling and a choice. Mapa sarili mo, sa friends mo, sa jowa mo, hanggang sa pagmamahal mo para sa bansa. Yun.
Ayan, Raffy, makinig ka.
Natahimik talaga.
Love is a feeling and a choice.
Natahimik. A feeling and a choice daw, Tonyo. Ano pa ba? Okay, Attorney Ton.
Parang, it's not something you really find, but it's something you build.
Ano?
It's something you build every day. And it's also a choice that you make every day.
Nakakatuwa. Grabe. Pagmamahal sa bayan, pagpili sa minamahal, no, sa pag-build ng pagmamahal. And I guess iaangkla ko diyan yung pagtatapos ng ating unang episode sa Inuman with Thysz and Raffy. Unang-una, babalikan ko yung sinabi ko kanina. Salamat sa tapang, salamat sa pagmamahal sa bayan. Napakahirap nun hanapin ngayon kasi nakakapagod yung nangyayari, nakakainis, nakakapikon, pero sa mga taong tulad ninyo, umaangkla kami na maging matapang din at maging mapagmahal din para sa bayan. Pangalawa, maraming salamat dahil hindi nyo binibitawan ang pag-asa. Pag-asa na sa bukas o makalawa meron pa tayong gigisingan na bansa na kilala natin. Gigisingan na bansa na hindi natin susukuan. At pangatlo, maraming salamat sa pagpapahiram ng boses. Alam ko yung pagpapahiram ng boses na yon, may balik yun sa inyo, may balik yun sa career, may balik yun sa plataforma kung saan kayo gumagalaw, may balik yun sa inyong personal na interest. Pero hinayaan yung gamitin nyo ng buong bayan, gamitin nyo ng mga taong pwedeng makinabang para kami din ay maprotektahan. Kaya maraming salamat. Wala akong ibang pwedeng masabi. Wala na akong anything na parang pa-lesson or something or realization pagkatapos ng inuman session na ito, kundi pagpapasalamat. At sana pag natapos na ang pandemyang ito, kung dumating na rin ang vaccine ni Duterte na hinihintay niya, sana magsama-sama tayong 5, kasama sina Jules at yung mga kasama natin sa likod ng camera, magiinuman tayo isang bucket para sa akin. Ay, para sa
Isang bucket lang? Diyos ko, magpapainom ako ng mga binibenta kong alak, Raffy. Char.
Yes,
Ako naman, to actually help close off this program, I'm very happy na we started off this way. Because ang whole point ng inuman is just me and Raffy just missing each other a lot drinking. Because sa totoo lang, pag nagkikita kami ni Raff, as much as possible, we go out and drink. The last time we actually met physically, Raff, was we were in Future with Jules, I think. Yeah.
Correct.
So, diba, nagkita tayo. Future is a bar that already closed, and sadly, but yun yung lagi naming point of connection ni Raffy for the longest time. But we want to recreate that. We want to ask a space, have a space online to have that. At isa sa mga pinaka-importanting pinag-uusapan habang nagiinuman ay politika. So, isa to sa mga, alam natin ng ang alak ay lubricant sa maraming katotohanan na pwede mong ilabas sa sarili mo. So, we're here to facilitate those kinds of discussions. And in more E-numans, you will expect even more topics that come out usually when we're drinking, and we want to sit back, relax, and just talk to our friends lovingly. Come to a point na mag-inuman na lang tayo. Parang gano'n na lang yung pwede mo masabi.
Correct. So maraming salamat sa lahat ng nanonood sa atin. Maraming salamat sa ating mga guests. At samahan niyo kami sa susunod na inuman session namin next Thursday. So muli ako si Raffy.
Ako si Thysz.
Ito ang Inuman.
Inuman with Thysz and Raffy.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Tonton.
Salamat.